So good evening, one and all present here. Today we have with us Captain Gautam Verma. He is a commercial pilot and he had passed his class 10 in 2015 and his class 12 ISC in 2017. He has been he has graduated from Thakur College with a degree in BSc Aviation, distance education. He is also a commercial pilot working with Heritage Aviation in Delhi. He has more than 300 flying hours. And apart from this, his endorsements include Cessna 152, Cessna 172, Beechcraft A36, Cessna 310, and the very famous Airbus 320. By the end of the next month, he'll also be receiving his endorsement of King Air B350. So now I'll hand it over to him. Yes.
So thank you very much for this wonderful introduction. So very good evening, everyone. I am Captain Gautam Verma. So to begin with, I'll just tell you why I choose this field to become a pilot. So the very first reason is this is not a normal kind of a job. It is not 9 to 5 job. It's a bit different. It is a place where you actually enjoy what you do. You travel a lot, you explore the world, you get to meet new people, okay? And you even get paid while enjoying your job, okay? So this is, and over that, this is the only career where you can get a job at an age of 18. So you start earning at a very early age, right? But the only thing that you should keep in mind when you are choosing this field is that you cannot compromise with your health, okay? Because there have been a lot of instances where people have to leave their job, or the people have lost their job due to health issues. So just because most of the pilots have DGCA has cancelled their license due to health issues. So you just need to keep up with your health. That's it. So to begin with, if I tell you my story, that how I begin my career as in pilot, I will. So here's my story. So first of all, before starting the aviation, can someone tell me, or how many of you are willing to become a pilot or have a dream to become a pilot? Can you raise your hands? I just want to see the ratio right now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them. Achha, it's a very good number. Okay. Okay. So you guys have a dream to become a pilot. So here I will be giving you a brief or a detailed explanation how you can start your career in aviation. Okay. So you can jot down all the points. Okay. So a pilot is basically the backbone of the aviation industry. Okay. We are highly trained people who are directly responsible for operating the flight controls and maintaining the internal system of the aircraft. Okay. We do carry passengers and goods from one place to another, but this is not the only role of a pilot. Okay. We have to be keep updated with the rules and regulations. We have to keep updated with the weather information. NOTAM is basically notice to airmanship. Okay, so these are kind of messages which are sent daily to the pilots. So we have to keep up with the messages. We have to be aware of the prohibited, restricted, danger areas. Okay, because there are a lot, and of these areas in India. Okay, we have to calculate fuel. We have to do flight plannings. We have to do weight calculation, CG calculation, keep up with the traffic. So there is a lot of to do when you are a pilot. Okay. So starting with my story, the world of aviation has always fascinated me since a very young age. You will be able to relate with it. Okay. So whenever I used to hear the aircraft engine roaring in the sky, I always used to rush towards the sky to have a glimpse of the aircraft. And I'm sure many of you are doing the same thing or have done the same thing at one point of life. Okay. So irrespective of building a career as a pilot in aviation, every one of us wants to fly. Every one of us wants to touch the sky, scheme through the clouds, rainbows, see the world from above, the mountains, the ocean, and much more. Okay. But to achieve any dream, we have a price to pay. Okay. The very first challenge for me, as I was from a non-aviation background, was to find the point where to start from. Okay. So because I was getting a very conflicting information over the internet as well as from different people. So thereafter, I came to know about a pilot who used to live in the same society. So I just contacted him and he guided me about the aviation. So that's how I began my career as a pilot in aviation. Okay. So let's have a look of the agenda. So this is the agenda for the day. Okay. We'll be starting with the educational requirements. What are the minimum educational requirements to start your career in aviation as a pilot? What are the steps? I'll be guiding you through all the steps. Okay. What are the types of licenses? Because there are a few types of licenses. People might be confused about which license to go for. Okay. We have examination. What are the types of examinations do we have in aviation? What is the total investment required to be a pilot? I'll give you the list of flying schools. I've given a few of them right now, but if you want, you can just contact me. I'll give you a full list of flying schools in India as well as abroad. What are the type rating centers? What is type rating? I'll explain you everything. Estimate time to complete, the scope in aviation, and what salaries you should expect when you complete this course. Okay. So we'll start with educational requirements. So can we go? Okay, very good. Okay, so educational requirements. Okay. So starting with the educational requirement to begin this career in aviation, the minimum qualification that you require is class 12, okay, with physics and maths to get a commercial pilot license or an airline transport pilot license in India. Okay. There is no minimum percentage required or any marks barrier. Okay. But still, I would suggest you that you focus on these subjects because these subjects form the basis of all your future studies in aviation as well as if you choose any other field. Okay. So you should be thorough with your concepts. Okay. You should know all the laws of physics, such as Bernoulli's theorem, Boyle's law, Charles' law, the theorems of Newton's law, and much more. You should know everything. Okay. Speaking about the maths, you should be very quick with your calculations. Okay, because you don't have time in air to calculate, and you have many calculations to do. Okay. There are fuel calculations, PSR. So distance to PSR is basically a safe return, where the point from where you can return safely. So you have to calculate your safe return. You have to calculate your no return point. You have to calculate your CG, center of gravity, because it affects the aircraft a lot. Okay, and you have many more calculations, the time calculations. So there are a lot of calculations involved. So you should be very quick with your calculations. Okay? So be thorough with the concepts and try to score as much as possible in your boards. Okay? And that would be my suggestion for 12th, okay? 10th and 12th. Okay. Now let's start with steps. Okay? Let's start with steps. So the very first step is medicals. Okay, so medicals is actually very important. Okay, because there are a lot of people who have quit aviation, who had to quit aviation because of they are not fit to fly. Okay, we do the medicals first from the local doctors, and then we do the medicals from the Air Force. Okay. So there are a list of doctors again. They are approved by the Dgca. So they are the local doctors. Okay. If you want, I'll share you the list of doctors who are approved by the Dgca. Okay. They will give you certain tests. There are many tests: your liver function, your ECG, your lungs, your kidneys. So they test your hemoglobin. So everything is included in this. Okay, so you should be fit over there. You should be declared fit by the doctors. Okay, once you are declared fit, you get a class 2 medical certificate. Can we go on page number 5, I guess? Next page. This one, previous one. The previous one. Okay. So this is class 2 medicals. So the very first medical is class 2 medical. So this is done by the local doctor. This has a validity of 2 years. Okay. So once you are done with class 2 medicals, you need not worry for next 2 years, but you should be fit. Okay. So once you are done with your class 2 medical, the doctor will give you your class 2 medical certificate. But this is further subjected to clearance by Dgca. Okay, what is Dgca? I'll explain you everything later. So this is further clearance by the Dgca. So once your report goes to Dgca, because your local doctor will send all your reports to the Dgca. Once this reports are received by the Dgca, there is a panel of doctors sitting in Dgca as well, and they will re-examine your medicals. Okay, so once it is cleared from their side, they will give you your class 1 medical assessment. So your class 2 medical assessment. So the certificate holds no value actually. Okay, this is just for your reference. The assessment is more valuable. Okay, so until and unless you don't have your medicals, you don't have your assessment given by the Dgca, you cannot fly. Okay, so once you get your class 2 medical assessment, you will then apply for class 1 medical examination. Okay, so there are only 3 medical centers. They are the Air Force Station. One is in Delhi, one is in Bangalore, and one is in Guwahati. So you have to travel to either of the Air Force stations. Okay, you have to schedule your appointment over there, because to get a date, it's not very easy, because you almost get a date which is 3 months from the current date. Okay, so you have to schedule your dates thoroughly. Okay. Then once you do your class 1 medical with the Air Force, they will again give you the same thing, class 1 medical certificate. Again, it holds no value. It's just for your reference. Okay. Once your medical reports goes to Dgca, it will again be verified by them, and thereafter they will give you your class 1 assessment. Now you are fit to fly for a commercial pilot. Class 2 is needed for a private pilot. Lekin you have to do class 2 first. Thereafter only you will have to do your class 1 medical. Then only you will get to class 1 medical assessment. So this is actually the procedure. Okay. So once you are done with your class 1 medicals, you are now fit to fly. Now you can go ahead and do your flying training. But the class 1 medical assessment has the validity of 1 year. So every year you have to renew your class 1 medical license. But this is only till the age of 40. Once you are 40, you will have to do your medicals every 6 months. Okay. So you have to, be fit and just take care of your health. Okay, because this is really of a big concern when it comes to your career. Okay. So coming to the point number 2, does anyone have any doubt over here? Any medicals? If anyone has, then just raise your hand. No one? Okay, Dhruvit. Dhruvit, you have any doubt?
No, it was just, yeah.
Achha,
It was my mistake.
okay, no issues, no issues. Okay. Now let's
I guess we have a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. It's by Parth. Hi, sir. Are the exams same if I want to work in an air traffic control?
No, you have a different procedure over there. Okay, it's a complete different procedure. Okay. The RTR license is same. It's the communication license. Hello. It's the same. So the RTR license is the same. The exams conducted by WPC. I'll just explain you everything. Okay. The communication license is the same. The procedure is different. You need to be a graduate over there. Here you don't need to be a graduate. Okay. Is it advisable to clear the exams? One second. Is it advisable to clear the exams before flying? Yeah, you should clear your exams before flying. Okay. You can clear it along with your flying training, but it is better if you do it before flying training. Okay, because sometimes for some people it gets tough. Okay, the examinations. So I've seen many of them leaving after they have done around 20-30 hours of flying training. So it's better you clear your exams before your flying training. Okay. So the next step is clearing exams conducted by Dgca and WPC. So I guess the ones who were asking the question, they are aware of Dgca and WPC. So Kevin, can you just tell me what is Dgca and WPC? Is he here, Kevin? No. Let's continue.
He has just texted that WPC conducts the exams for radio communications, if I'm not wrong.
Not wrong. Yeah, it conducts the exam for radio communications. Okay, I'll just explain you both in detail now. Okay. So coming to the Dgca and WPC. Dgca is first of all Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Okay. The headquarters is in Delhi. If you want to visit, you can just visit with them. Okay. What is the role of Dgca? They basically issue license to the CPL holders, to the pilots. They issue license to the aircraft maintenance engineers. They carry out aircraft registration. They carry out aircraft accident investigations, incident investigations, and as well as they implement the standards set by ICAO, that is International Civil Aviation Organization in India. Okay, so whatever the ICAO has set, the standards, ICAO is basically, he's the godfather. Okay, whatever he sets, every state states has to follow that. Okay, so Dgca implements the standards set by 𝐼𝐿 in India. Same way we have FAA in USA, we have EASA in Europe. Okay. So Dgca exam, Dgca conducts 4 different exams for pilots. One is aircraft. Can we go on slide number 5 again? There I have it in the exams. Okay, so the Dgca exam conducts 4 different exams. One is aircraft technical, air navigation, meteorology, and air regulations. Okay, so what is aircraft technical? So aircraft technicals deals with the technicalities of the aircraft. Let's say we have this aircraft. What are the forces acting on it? How the engines work? How the cockpit works? How the all the controls work? We learn about that in aircraft technical. Okay, so if I just tell you and just what is technicals. So first of all, there is a weight acting on the aircraft due to mass of the aircraft in the downward direction. Okay, we have the wings. What it does is whenever there is an airflow over the wing, there is a low pressure over the wings and high pressure below the wings. So air has a tendency to push either itself, or if there is any object between the high pressure and low pressure, it pushes the object from high pressure region to low pressure region. So this is what the wings does. There is a high pressure below the wing, low pressure above the wing. It pushes the aircraft up. So now how the airflow will be generated. This is generated by the forward motion. How this forward motion happens? By the engines. Okay. It sucks in the air from ahead and throws it backward. So this is how thrust is generated. So whenever there is thrust, there is a drag. Okay. So you learn about everything. What are the controls of the aircraft? What are the elevators, such as ailerons, elevator, rudder. Okay. So you will learn everything about this in aircraft technical, and it's one of the most interesting subjects. Okay. Thereafter,
I guess we have a doubt.
Okay.
By part.
Okay.
Sir, if I want to apply in Air Force.
For Air Force or parametric, the only difference is the NDA exam, right? The only difference is NDA exam and the cost as well. Okay. There you don't have to pay anything, but here your investments is maybe in crores. Okay. So it's about investments as well. Okay. Okay, so now let's proceed. The second exam is air navigation. The name itself suggests it will be about navigating. Okay, how well you can navigate your aircraft. So it will involve the calculations, fuel calculations, your aircraft weight calculations, the CG calculations, so all the calculations, the performance. There are segments, takeoff segments. So you will learn about everything about calculations and navigations. Okay. Then we have metrology. This is basically study of atmosphere. Okay. There is a study of weather phenomena. There are different types of clouds, winds. Okay. So you'll learn about everything, how the wind blows, how the clouds are formed. Okay, so there are many different types of clouds. If you see, we have stratus, we have cumulus, we have altostratus. So there are many clouds, cirrus. Okay, so one of the dangerous cloud in aviation is the cumulonimbus cloud. Okay, this is the very dangerous clouds because there are a lot of updraft, downdraft in this clouds. Okay, so whenever the aircraft enters a CB, it's a distress situation. Okay, anything can happen. Maybe the wings can break, the rudders can break, the elevators can break, or the fuselage can crack. Anything can happen in this. So it's directly a mayday call. So we learn about everything about in metrology, weather phenomena. Then we have air regulations. What is air regulation? It's the study about laws. Okay, what are the laws you have to keep in mind when you're flying an aircraft? Okay, there are prohibited areas, danger areas. You have restricted areas, and what happens when your aircraft is hijacked. So there are a lot of procedure you have to follow. So we learn about everything in detail in air regulations. Okay. Next is so Dgca exams are, you can give the Dgca exams on registration. You have to register yourself in Dgca. So when you get yourself registered with the Dgca, you get a computer number. It's your identification for Dgca. Okay, there you get a computer number. It starts from P with for the pilots, and for AME it starts with Echo E. Okay. So Dgca exams are conducted all over the India, and it happens simultaneously. That means you can give your exams anywhere in India. Okay. Second thing is WPC. What is WPC? Wireless Planning and Coordination Wing. Okay. This comes under Ministry of Communication. Okay. So they are responsible for, basically they are responsible for allocation of frequencies. Like you might have listened about 2G, 3G spectrums, 4G spectrums. Now they are bringing 5G. So all these work are done by the WPC. Okay. They are also working to issue licenses for pilot as well as Navy. Okay. So they conduct exams. The exams conducted for Navy is called GMDSS, that is Global Maritime Distress and Safety Services. And the exams conducted for the pilot is known as RTRA. Okay. What is it? Radio Telephony Restricted Aeromobile. Okay. So let me tell you about the RTR in detail. Okay. So it is the exams conducted for the pilots, and it is conducted in two parts. Okay. Like for the Dgca, we have 4 exams. For RTR, we have to give the exam in 2 parts. Okay. Part 1 is completely transmission based, and part 2 is your oral interview. Okay. So in transmission, they are basically testing how well you can reduce the radio occupancy. You have to transmit a long information at a very small span of time. Okay. So how well you can do that. So if you want, I can give you an example. Let's say I am in Delhi airport, and I'm addressing to an AirAsia aircraft. Okay. So let's say if I want to give an PDC clearance to the AirAsia aircraft. Okay. So I can tell him Red Knight 666 Delhi Tower, clear to Bombay, flight level 320. After departure, climb runway heading flight level 50. Turn right to intercept radial 320. Thereafter, climb flight level 50 to resume normal navigation. So this is too much information. Okay. So you are transmitting the whole information in just 2 or 3 lines. Okay. So you reduce your radio occupancy. Okay. Then you have part 2 exams. That is your oral interview. This is conducted by Dgca as well as WPC. Okay. Both the panels will be sitting together, or maybe at different centers they coordinate differently. In Delhi, they sit together. In Hyderabad, they sit separate. Okay. So the exams are conducted at 5 locations. Okay. Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kolkata. Okay. The difference over here is from the Dgca exam is exams are not conducted simultaneously everywhere. So let's say this time they have decided that we will keep the exam in Delhi, or let's say Kolkata. So all the candidates all over the India have to travel to Kolkata to give their exams. Okay. So in oral interview, they will be bombarding you with the questions, and it will last for, let's say, 1 hour. Okay. So it's this is how the process goes. Okay. So once you clear your RTR, they will give you your COP, that is Certificate of Proficiency. Okay. So this is all about WPC. Okay. So I guess if anyone has the question regarding examination, we can ask. Is anyone having any questions regarding examinations? No one? Okay, chalo, let's move forward. Okay. So joining a flying, next step is join a flying school and complete the flying training, flying requirements. Okay. So in India, when you want a CPL, you have to fly for a total of 200 hours. Okay, which will include 100 hours of solo flying. Solo means completely you will be all alone. Okay? You can go to different destinations if you want. You can fly to nearby airports, or you can overfly any specific point. Okay, however you want to do, you can do it. Okay, you have to fly 100 hours as solo. Okay, you have night requirements. You have to fly 10 hours at night. Okay, you have to fly a total of 40 hours by looking at the instruments. By instrument, I mean you are not allowed to see outside. You will just look at your instruments and you will fly. Okay, this is just to prepare you for bad weather. So if I give you an example, just imagine you are driving a car and there is a black foam on your windshield ahead. So how will you fly? Okay, we can't imagine ourselves driving a car without looking ahead. But in aviation, what happens? You have to fly through the clouds, you have to fly in rain, you have to fly in fog. So you have to prepare for the worst. You have to be prepared for the worst. Okay. So how you fly? There are basically 6 basic instruments. They are the ASI, airspeed indicator, the artificial horizon, we have the altimeter, we have the DGI, that is directional gyro indicator. We have turn and slip indicator. We have VSI, vertical speed indicator. So you fly with the help of these instruments. Okay. There was a doubt from one of the candidates. Sir, I play a lot of flight video games like X-Planes, Cumulonimbus simulators. I'm a very good passion in aviation, and so I'm not test for the Dgca in the past and scored high marks. And explaining around the flight because the requirements. So my dream is my last motivation, please advise me, sir. Sorry, please, that's a bit. Okay, no, like, what is the issue? Can you just unmute and let me know? Or semi specs have very high number. No issue. You can fly. Okay. You are not going into Air Force, so it's not an issue. You can fly with 12 number as well. Okay. You can carry yourself. You can do a eye surgery or laser surgery. You can fly. You can fly with specs as well, so it's not an issue. Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, now let's proceed. So this is your flying training. Okay, So there are various flying club for the flying training. Can we go to the page number 6, I guess? I have listed down a few flying clubs. If you want, I can give you more flying clubs. Yeah, this one. Previous one. Yeah. Okay, so you have CAE, FTA, GRUA, Garg Aviation, APFT, MPFC, BFC. So you have many flying clubs, but this is not only in India. Okay, CAE is having their flying clubs in Australia as well as US. So you can go to CAE, you can go to any of the flying clubs. Okay, so there are more flying clubs, but they either they are shut or they are not operating right now. So I have just mentioned a few flying clubs. Okay, so this is actually the most expensive part of the commercial pilot licensing. Right? The cost may vary from 15,000 to 25,000 per hour. Okay, so you have to fly for 200 hours, so you can just calculate how much it's costing you. It's roughly around. You have to go fly multi-engine as well if you want a multi-engine endorsement. So multi-engine will cost you around 40 to 50,000 per hour. Okay, so it is roughly going to be around 40 to 60 lakh. Okay, 40 to 60 lakh over here. Then, so what if you get a CPL? If you get a CPL, you can act as a PIC, pilot in command. For the captain, you can say it as a captain. For the aircrafts weighing less than 5,700 kgs. Okay. So mostly charters and weighing less than 5,700 kgs. So you can opt for that. Okay. But again, you have to do type rating. Okay. Because CPL without type rating is of no use. Okay, if you want to go into an airline. Okay, so what is type rating? It's basically learning in depth about the aircraft that you are going to fly. Okay. Aircraft such as Airbus A320, on which I'm type rated, Boeing 737, 747, A380s, ATRs. You have many of them. So you can get type rated on any of them. Once you get type rated, you can act as a co-pilot on these aircrafts. Okay, the co-pilot is the one who sits on the right seat. Okay, there are two pilots sitting in the cockpit. So the one sitting on the left is the captain, and the one who is sitting on the right is the co-pilot. Okay, so he's also a captain, but he is a co-pilot at the moment. Okay. So there are a very few centers who offer you type rating courses. Okay, in India we just have one, that is in Gurgaon. Okay, nearby India, in Asia we have in Sharjah, from where I did. We have in Spain, one in Jordan. Jordan is actually having a very old model, so we don't prefer to go over there. Okay. So again, how much this type rating will cost you? It will cost you roughly around 20 to 25 lakh. Okay. So do we stop over here? Okay. Do we stop over here? No. Once you are type rated, you apply in an airline which is having the aircraft on which you are type rated on. Okay. So here let's take two cases. Okay, one, you get a job in an airline or a cargo, wherever you have applied for, you get a job. Second, you don't get a job, because we have to analyze both, because this is a very expensive field, so you have to analyze everything. Okay. So let's assume that you have got a job in an airline. Okay, so every airline has the aircraft, the Airbus 320, Airbus or the Boeing, customized according to their needs. Okay, so every airline now has their own SOPs. Okay, standard operating procedures. So you have to learn about the airline SOPs now. Okay, So again, the airline is going to charge you for that. Okay, so it again varies. If you go in an Indigo airline or a Go Air, it will cost you on the lower end around 25 to 30 lakhs. And if you go in an airline such as SpiceJet, they charge you around 55 lakhs. Okay, so again, there is a lot of cost involved over here. Okay, so you add up till now, it will easily cross around 80 lakhs to 1 crores. Okay, so now let's assume the case 2, that is you don't get a job. Okay, what happens when you don't get a job? So if you don't get a job, you will have to, okay. Okay, so let's assume that you don't get a job. Okay, so you have to keep your license up to date. Okay, so to keep your license up to date, you need to renew your license every year. Okay, so every renewal is going to cost you. The older your license is, the expensive it gets. Okay, so the first year it will cost you around 3 to 5 lakh for your renewal, your first renewal. Okay, so for a second renewal, that is, if you don't get a job for 2 years, it will cost you around 5 lakh. Okay, third year it will go up to 8 lakh and so on. So it is very expensive to if you don't get a job. Okay, so you have to find a job as soon as you have done with your type rating. So now let's go on to the types of licenses. The next slide. Okay, so here are the types of licenses. We have the SPL, PPL, CPL, and ATPL. Okay, so don't confuse that what is ATPL or PPL. Okay, because generally people get confused about the PPL and ATPL mainly. Okay, so it's all the procedure. Like first you get the SPL, then you get your PPL, CPL, and then you go for your ATPL. So it's a sequence. Okay, so the very first license is SPL. What is SPL? It is student pilot license. It's a kind of learner's license. Okay, once you get your SPL license, you can start your training process. Okay, you can start your training actually on an aircraft. Okay, so what is the minimum requirement to get an SPL license? It's 16 years. Okay, 16 years with class 10 pass certificate. So once you have your class 10 pass certificate and you are 16 years, you can just go ahead and apply for your SPL license. Okay, you can start your flying training from there. So once you start your training at around the training with the CFI or the instructor is roughly around 10 to 15 hours. You learn about the controls and everything. Okay, so once you learn about the controls, you are released solo. You can now take the aircrafts in circuits. Okay, with the permission of the CFI, that is a chief flying instructor. Okay, you can fly in circuits or nearby, not outside the aerodrome zones. Okay, so once you complete your 40 hours of training, after getting an SPL, a total of 40 hours, you can apply for PPL license. What is PPL? Private pilot license. Okay, what do you do if you get a PPL license? You can fly for non-commercial purposes. Okay, non-commercial purposes means if you have your own aircraft, that is two-seater, four-seater, small aircraft, you can fly it. Okay, you can take your friends, you can take your families on a ride. Okay, but not beyond that. Okay, so what is the minimum age and qualification to get a PPL? The qualification is same. You should be class 10 pass. And apart from that, here the age criteria is 17 years. So you can start your training at 16, but you should be 17 if you are applying for a PPL license. Okay. Thereafter, you have CPL. Okay. So once you get your PPL, you can go to different aerodromes, nearby aerodromes, or even you can plan whatever you want. Okay, you can fly over at a waypoint, you can do anything. You need at least 100 PIC hours, solo hours. Okay. Once you get your 100 solo hours and you have a total of 200 hours flying time, which includes your instrument, night flying, and everything, you can apply for CPL license. Okay. So what is the minimum qualification required over here is class 12 certificate. Class 12 passing certificate. It should include your physics and maths. Okay, then only you'll get this license. Okay, if at all, let's say you, have taken commerce, yeah, like many of the students take commerce. So if you have taken commerce, you can go ahead and apply for NIOS. NIOS is National Institute for Open Schooling. So you can apply for physics and maths. You can give the exams over there. You just need a passing certificate in physics and maths. Okay. Then you can apply for a commercial pilot license. Your age requirement is 18 years. Okay. So once you get your CPL license, you can act as a PIC or a captain on an aircraft which is weighing below 5,700 kgs. So you can fly the charter aircrafts, you can fly the flying school aircrafts, you can fly your own aircrafts as well. Okay. As well as you can fly as a co-pilot on the aircrafts weighing more than 5,700 kgs. Okay. So you can get type rated on whichever aircraft you want, and you can act as a co-pilot of that aircraft. Okay. Co-pilot is the right seat. Okay. Okay. Now let's see ATPL. What is ATPL? Airline Transport Pilot License. What is this? This is basically the license which gives you right to be a captain on aircraft weighing more than 5,700 kgs. Okay, that means you can be a captain on your Airbus A320, 737, and on all the aircrafts. Okay. So what is the requirement over here? You should be a CPL holder as well as you should have 1,500 hours. So this you cannot do by yourself, okay? Because you can do, if you want, you can do. You can apply for 1,500 hours and meet the requirement for ATPL, but it will cost you roughly around 5 to 6 crores. Okay, so no one does this by themselves. Okay, you find a job after commercial pilot license, and then you gain experience, and then you apply for ATPL license. The age requirement over here is 21 years. So you should be 21 years for an ATPL license. Qualification is just 12. Okay, you don't require a graduation over here. Okay. So now, does anyone have any doubt? Sir, a while ago, the Dgca had said something about the multi-crew pilot license. Will that be introduced in India sometime soon? Multi-crew pilot license is basically the airlines training you. Okay, so it's a bit different than the CPL license. Okay, so maybe that might be implemented very soon, but right now it's not implementation. So you can go ahead and do your commercial pilot license training. Okay, what other options do we have? Like, because there is definitely a lot of money involved over here, a lot of risk, because what if you don't get a job in an airline? It will be very expensive for you. So what other options do we have? So you might have heard about the cadet pilot programs, right, of different airlines, such as Indigo is offering the Indigo cadet pilot program. The AirAsia is offering, SpiceJet is offering. So you can apply for these cadet pilot programs. Okay, the cost is more or less same, so it will not be a big issue. So it has recently been started, so you can apply for those. Okay, but the thing is, the cadet pilot program has an advantage that you have a secure job before starting your training. Okay. So the only disadvantage over here is the payment schedule. Okay, so you have to pay for the program in advance. Okay, you have to pay them upfront. So if at all in the middle of the in the middle of the program you decide that you come to know that you are not fit for this career, you don't get a refund. Okay, there is no refund schemes, so you will lose your money. Okay. That's the only drawback, or it's very good option if you want to build your career in pilot. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? You can go ahead with NDA programs as well. If you want, you can go to NDA, you can go with CDS. Okay, but the thing is, you have to serve in Air Force for at least till at least you are 40. Okay, once you are retired, you can come to the airlines. Okay, you can apply for the jobs, but you have to serve for the nation before coming to the airlines. Does anyone have any question over here? This is clear, right? Okay. Chalo, let's go to the next slide. Next slide was, can you see the next slide? The next one. Okay. Estimate time is 3 years. Okay. It's on an average, you get your CPL license in 3 years. Okay. It can be less for you as well if you expedite your process. Okay. If you clear your exams on time, you are at the right flying club at the right time when there is no rush. You can complete it in 2 years as well. And if at all you are at a wrong place, wrong flying club, and you have not cleared your papers, it can take you 5 to 6 years as well. So it totally depends on you, how fast you can clear your papers, how fast you do your flying. All right. Next slide. Okay. So what are the scope in aviation? So you can see that the Indian aviation market is the fastest growing market in the world. Okay. Right now, currently we have around 500 aircrafts. Okay, operating with the airlines. Okay, roughly around 500 aircrafts. For that, we have around 6,000 pilots, currently working pilots. Okay, so we have all the airlines have the orders lined up for the next 5 to 6 years. So we are estimating around 1,000 aircrafts in next 5 to 6 years. Okay, so it's a very huge number. Okay, because of the domestic travel has increased a lot. There are tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities opening up. So there is a lot of scope right now in aviation. If you see, okay, there are more than 1,000 aircrafts coming up. So if I tell you on an average, each aircraft requires around 8 to 12 pilots. Okay, so in total we require around 10,000 to 15,000 pilots in the next 7 years. Okay, so no, back. Okay, so to just give you a figure right now, it's been roughly now 92 years since Indian aviation has developed. Okay, so in 9 decades, we see around Dgca has issued only 16,000 CPL licenses till now. So you can just imagine in 90 years we have 16,000 CPL holders, and in the next 5 years we require 10,000 pilots. So you can just imagine what is the scope in aviation as a pilot. And definitely, if the aircrafts are coming, there will be more number of airports. So there will be definitely more jobs coming up as a cabin crew, airport managers, ground staff. So there is a lot of scope. Okay. Can we go on the next slide? Okay. So what are the jobs you can apply for once you have done your commercial pilot license? Definitely you will apply for the airline or cargo. Okay. You can apply for a charter as well. And you can be a ground instructor, you can be a flight instructor. Okay. So the airline pilots, what is the salary expected if you are in an airline or a cargo? So in an airline or a cargo, you have to do a lot of work. Okay, on an average, you will be working around 20 to 25 days. Okay, in a month. If you are in an airline or a cargo. Okay. So you can expect your starting package to be roughly around 25 to 30 lakhs annum. Okay. If at all you are applying in a charter, that is you will be paid less. Okay, the charters are given roughly around, the starting package starts around 15 to 20. Okay, so this is for an obvious reason that you don't have to work a lot in charter. Hardly you fly for 5 to 7 days. Okay, not more than that. So in your free time, you can open your own ventures. You can do something else. You have time. 25 to 30 lakh in CTC or in hand. In CTC, definitely you have to give taxes and also CTC. Okay. It may vary as well. Okay, you can get on the lower end as well, and you can go on the higher end as well. You can go up to 35. Okay, as you're starting. So definitely you are paid good. Okay. What if you don't get a job as an airline or a cargo pilot or in a charter? So next solution is you can go ahead with flight instructors. So you can become a flight instructor, but you have to work a lot as a flight instructor. You get paid less for if you become a flight instructor, but that's for a short time. Okay, once you gain experience, within a year you'll get a good experience, and then you can apply for the airlines. Okay, so here your starting salary can be roughly around 8 to 10. Okay, not much. Okay. So what if you don't get job anywhere? So like for example, in pandemic, many people have lost their job. Okay, so you can go ahead and do freelancing as a ground instructor. Okay, so there is no minimum bar, not a higher limit. Okay, you can earn as much as your potential is. Okay, there is a very famous person. He's a CPL holder, commercial pilot license holder, and he's teaching as a ground instructor since last 10 years. Okay, and back in 2009, he had done his CPL. He did not got a job because there was a recession in 2009. So he started teaching, and right now he's earning in 9 figures. So it is definitely you can earn as much as you want. But ground instructor, it's on your potential, how well you can convince people. Okay. So this was all about the salary expectations. If you join an airline, you will get promotions very quickly, because in just 5 years you can reach to 8 figures. Okay, so your starting is around 30 and you can reach to 8 figures. within a span of 5 years. So definitely risk to reward is good. Okay. It's just that you have to work hard, be dedicated. You must be committed. Okay, because okay. So you just have to work hard, just give your commitments. If you want to fly, if you want to be a pilot, you just have to ask yourself that, do I really want to do this? Am I really interested to do this? Because it is definitely, you have seen the figures, there's a lot of expenses involved in it. And even to maintain it, if you don't get a job, it is very expensive on your part. Okay, you have to be self-motivated. If you don't get a job, you have to be a go-getter. You cannot be like, I will wait for my favorite airlines. Okay, no, whatever you are getting, even if you are getting a job as a flight instructor, you should go ahead and take it. Okay, so there is a lot of responsibilities on your head if you be a pilot. Okay, so that's it from my side. Do you have any doubts or queries? Can we just start with the doubt session? So anyone has any doubts, you can just raise their hand. When are the next attempt for Dgca exams? Okay, sir, approximately how many hours have you flown? I have flown around 300 hours. Okay, I've recently got a job in charter. When are the next exams, next attempt for Dgca exams conducted? Okay, so next attempt is going to be most likely in December. Okay, so you can prepare for that. If you want, you can join 𝐲𝐿 or any of the, where are you from? If you are from Mumbai, you can join, there are many classes in Mumbai as well, such as aerodynamics. Or what books do I need to buy? Okay. So first of all, you can join any flying clubs. They will provide you with the books. Okay, whatever the notes you require, whatever soft copies you require, they will provide you with the softwares. Okay, everything they will provide. Apart from this, if you are not joining any classes, because you can do it by yourself as well, all the theory parts to save up, because you definitely need to save a lot in this. Okay, so you can prepare it by yourself. You can refer to the Oxford. Okay, so there are 14 books of Oxford. Okay, you can refer to them. You can study from that. That is very well explained over there. Okay, sir, how tall one should be to be a pilot? Okay, you can. There's no there's nothing like this, but you need to be at least 158. Okay, so normally everyone is above 160, so you need to be 158 centimeter. According to you, should a student pursue a pilot training as soon as after? If I would have known that SPLs are issued when we are in class 10, then I would have done it in class 10. So definitely in 12th, you can just start your career. Anyone? How is the student loan option? Okay, student loan is, you don't get a student loan for your commercial pilot license, first of all, because for an obvious reason that you don't have a company guarantee, because you are not, you don't have an LOI, that is letter of intent of a company. So you will not be able to get a student loan here. You can get a personal loan if you want, okay, but you will not get a student loan. Do you recommend FAA or Dgca? Achha, okay. FAA is basically Federal Aviation Administration. It's in USA, okay, and DGCA is in India. So if you do your commercial pilot licensing in USA, okay, first of all, tell me, do you want to work in USA or in India, Krish? If you're doing your FAA license, do you want to work over there or you want to work in India, USA? Okay. So it is actually not very easy to get a job in USA, okay, because not because we are Indians, no, because there to get into airline, the hours required is 15, at least 1,000 hours. Okay, so airlines do not. What about credits? Yes. That's what I'm telling you. That first of all, you do your credit. First of all, you do your commercial pilot license over there. Then after you become an instructor, gain 1,000 hours, and then you will apply for a job in USA. Okay, so it is not easy to apply in to become a commercial pilot to become an airline pilot license in USA. It's fairly simple in India because companies do hire you at 200. Okay, and secondly, you can work in USA, no issues, but the thing is you don't get promotions over there. There, the salary will definitely start at a good scale, okay, but you will not get a promotion over there, okay, because they hire the captain from the Air Force over there in USA. Okay, they don't keep a CPL holder as a captain over there. In India, this happens that a commercial pilot license holder will be made a captain, but in USA this doesn't happen. Okay, so if you work in India within a span of 5 years, you can easily cross 1 crore. Okay, but in USA it's not that easy. Any more questions? Dhruvit, I guess you had a few questions, right?
I guess Shreya has a question.
Yeah. What if I have taken commerce in class 11? Will I be able to pursue my career in aviation? Definitely, you will. Okay. There is, you can search on Google NIOS, that is National Institute for Open School. Okay. So you can apply for your, you have maths or you don't have maths. Okay. Let's assume you don't have maths. Okay. You don't have physics and maths both. So you can apply for individual subject over there. You can give your maths exam, you can give your physics exam individually, and you just need to pass. The passing marks over there is 35, I guess. Okay. So you just need to pass over there. Okay. Then you can pursue your career. Soft skill required. Okay. So here you need to have what are the soft skill required? Okay, so here you must be able to work in team. Okay, you must be able to communicate. The one like I told you, the RTR. Okay, so you must be able to communicate whatever information you have, whatever questions you have, or whatever clearance you are asking to the ADC. Very good. Okay, because you have seen the crash last year that happened in Karachi, I guess. If you remember, you guys remember. It's,
Yes, at the on the top of a
yeah, in
building,
the
right?
Karachi,
Yes.
in the lockdown, that incident, that accident happened. So there was a communication problem, communication barrier between the pilots and the ADC. The pilot was not able to express what is happening in the aircraft. The wheels were not able to come down, so they were not able to communicate this simple information to the ADC, and that's why the crash happened. So you must be able to communicate. You must manage the stress very well. Okay, because at times what happens, the situation is very bad. Might be the ATC is not responding, and you have an emergency situation. So you have to deal with that situation. Okay, you are taught everything, by the way. Okay, all the emergency procedure, whatever happens over here, but you should try and build this thing in yourself. Okay, if possible. Okay, you should be focused. Okay, you must be able to do multitasking. As a pilot, you do three things simultaneously. As we see, famous saying goes that first you aviate, then you navigate, then communicate. So basically, you should be able to do multitasking. Okay. How do we prepare for an iOS? Okay, it's pretty simple. There are coaching classes, okay, for an iOS. You can do it by yourself as well. So it's very simple. I guess it's just MCQs in iOS. Okay, there's no theory paper. So it's very simple for an iOS. Any more questions? What is the time period to prepare? Well, for the NIOS, you can give the exams anytime. Hardly you need 10 to 15 days. Okay, you can prepare in 10 to 15 days. You have the very basic stuff in an iOS. What are the medical requirements to be a pilot? Okay, so there is a list of medicals. I recommend you, if you are going for your class 2 medical, that is your local doctor, you ask them that please do the test that is in class 1 as well. Okay, so that you can be prepared. So you have your liver test. I'll just send the PDF. Okay, there are a lot of tests. Okay, I don't remember exactly what are the tests. Few of them I remember. Liver test. You have basically your ECG, your lungs are scanned, your blood test. Okay, this is a very comprehensive test. It will cost you roughly around 15,000. Okay. Any more questions? Can you give more information on the distance learning? Okay, distance learning for the graduation or the commercial pilot licensing? Graduation, okay. Okay, I called it as a distance learning, but it's actually not a distance learning. It's a full-time course, okay. When you do your commercial pilot license, basically your qualification is 12th pass. So if at all, just in case, let's assume that after getting a commercial pilot license, you are medically unfit. Okay, so you will not be able to get into any other field. Okay, so you need a graduation as well. Okay, so there is a special course designed for the pilots that is known as BSc in Aviation, Bachelor's of Science in Aviation. Okay, by the Mumbai University, by Delhi University, and most of the university like nowadays gives you this course. Okay, so you can apply. We have Thakur, we have Bombay Flying Club, we have Delhi University. Okay, so you can apply them. Okay, they will tell you that you don't need to come. You can go for your flying training. You just need to appear for the examinations. So this is how the graduation happens. Okay, so you get a full-time certificate. It's not a distance. Okay, it's just the way that you don't attend the class, but it's a full-time degree. How many weeks? How many days a week does commercial pilot need to work? Okay, so it's a kind of, if I give you exact figures, okay, so daily you can work for 8 hours, okay. Weekly we have 35 hours, monthly it's 120 hours, yearly it's 1000 hours. So it's a lot of calculation over here. You can just, it's basically until and unless you don't do this thing, you'll not be able to understand how this thing works. Okay, because there is a lot of calculation over here. Okay? So in a week, if you ask straightforward, it's 35 hours. Okay, it's the upper limit set by the Dgcm. Any more questions?
Seeing none, I guess we'll end it. And thanks a lot, Captain Gautam. It was really great having you here, and we're extremely delighted for a very insightful session with you. And I guess we will remember you and stay in touch.
It was really grateful. I really feel that the Insight is doing a very good job, and you guys also prove it, and your team. You all are doing a great job. So I feel that it's actually very beneficial for the students as well. We have no doubts, I guess. Do we need to clear some exams for end of year? You have to clear NDA. If you are 12th pass, you can give your NDA, and if you have done your graduation, you can give CDS exams. Okay, so if you go through this program, that is CDS or NDA, you will not have to spend that much. Okay, but the thing is that you have to serve for Indian Air Force until you are 40. Okay. So can we connect you after the session? Okay, definitely you can connect me. What should I do? You can connect me on WhatsApp if you want. You can take my number. Okay. I'll guide you if you want. Okay. Okay. Definitely, you can contact me. Okay. I'll guide you with everything. Okay, so I had a wonderful time over here. Okay. So that's it from my side. Okay.
Sabyasachi, would you like to speak anything?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Captain Gautam, and thank you so much for taking out the time. Participants, feel free to leave now. There will be the feedback form. We'll be sending it on the group. Please fill it up. And again, thank you so much for being with us.